Today on the Pro Bowlers Tour, the $70,000 Cleveland Open from suburban North Olmsted. In match number 1, making his 4th appearance this year, a colorful competitor with 8 PBA titles, Marshall Holman. He'll meet a 4-year PBA member with 1 title, Joe Hutchinson. The winner to meet the number 3 bowler with 1 PBA title, Butch Soper. This match winner to meet the number 2 bowler looking for his first PBA title, Cliff McNeely. And that match winner will bowl for the championship against an 11-year veteran with an all-time record 30 PBA titles, Earl Anthony, today on the Pro Bowlers Tour. Wow. What a way to begin a match. Talk about a powerful strike, Nelson.
Chris, the advantage has to be slightly with Holman. He's experienced. He's been on Joe Hutchinson, making his first appearance on the Pro Bowlers Tour. But he's a man to watch out for. He's a tough competitor.
So we have an even match after 1 frame here at the Buckeye Lanes in North Olmsted, Ohio. Our 8th tournament in a total of 16. We wind up in the state of Ohio with our 16th, the Firestone Tournament of Champions, later on in April. Hoping to double is this 5'9", 150-pound professional. Very calm in picking up a double and stroking to a 10-pin lead against Marshall Holman, who now will shoot.
Chris, both players playing the deep inside line, something for all the fans to watch this week. The lanes are hooking a lot, and the players compensated by moving very far left on the approach.
Ooh, that one did not come up.
We said the lanes are hooking a lot, but you can't throw it too wide. We know Holman throws the big hook ball. He sent it real wide, did not get back. Holman from that low profile. Gets excellent leverage, but watch, he'll probably pull up at the line a little bit. He's in a good position there, but as he lets go of the ball, see his body raise up in the 4th step? That's what caused the ball to slide out and lose the leverage. Shooting for the washout, 1, 2, 10.
Beautifully done, and that's why he's one of the greats at even 24 years of age. Already this year has won 29,004.
And the perfect shot. Watch the head pin being driven into the 10. Absolutely perfect. Nailed it right in the middle. Holman trailing by 10, 3rd frame.
Right back in the pocket in the 3rd frame for Holman. 40 through the 2nd, strike up, and now with the double working in a 10-pin lead is Joe Hutchinson from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Northern Ohio Open winner 2 years ago. His lone PBA title. So the Vietnam veteran has a 3-bagger going.
Chris, he's always been a tough competitor. We've known him on the tour for the last couple of years. Has kind of a unique style, has very strong back muscles. And watch how his shoulders go a little forward. His elbow and hand are crooked at the back. That once gave him a lot of trouble with his tendons, but he seems to have solved that problem. And just a perfect stroke. The deep inside line.
And now Joe Hutchinson has rolled 4 strikes in a row in our first match live, trying to narrow Hutchinson's lead. Ten-pin on the right lane.
The one shot that stopped many of the players, Chris. The 10-pin has been the problem pin this week. You can watch the players, the deep inside line, but watch the 6th pin. Just lay down and just twist right around the 10. One of the reasons is from that deep inside line, the ball sliding quite a bit as it hits the pocket, doesn't have quite as much angle, thereby the 10-pin more often than usual.
Across the lane with a lot of speed, Marshall Holman marks it a spare in the 4th frame on the Professional Bowlers Tour. Let's, as you see the score sheets here at the Buckeye Lanes in North Olmsted, Ohio.
The players that have done the best, Chris, are the players that are not playing the big hook. They're letting the ball kind of slide back into the pocket. Hutchinson is going fairly straight down the lane. Holman's trying to curve it. The left lane is more conducive to Holman because it hooks quite a bit more. Right there.
Okay, now Joe Hutchinson, who has 4 strikes in a row. Here is the 5th frame. So it's a 5-bagger.
You can see the unique style of Joe Hutchinson. Very powerful man, 5'9", 170 pounds, but Chris, he's really strong, and you have to be to carry the ball the way he does. See how he opens his hand, elbow slightly crooked. Now he keeps his shoulders forward, which is not the ideal situation, and then gets a powerful lift. Notice how close his foot comes to that foul line. He's got 5 in a row, left-hand lane.
Leaving the 4-pin. 7 being taken. So the fans here, and they are knowledgeable bowling fans because the Cleveland area, like Detroit and St. Louis, they just a lot of establishment, and a lot of people bowl, all degrees of ability. And they've been out here watching the pros this week. So it's a spare in the 6th frame, and Holman is up. Could come up with a double. John Vaso Jr. of the Cleveland area, the alternate 22-year-old comer.
Yes, he is, Chris. He enthused the fans out here. Almost made the top 5.
All right, cutting the lead now to 29 pins. Marshall Holman.
Chris will set up the pair again for the folks at home. We're going 21 and 22 here at Buckeye Lanes. The left lane, even though they're playing the deep inside line, hooks about 2 boards more than the right-hand lane. So lane 21 will watch for the players having a little more trouble with the ball going high, the right-hand lane with the ball not quite finishing. And here's a unique camera angle we have today. Something disturbed Marshall, and he's starting back over. That's tough to do, really, that if your concentration or rhythm is off a little bit, it looks like just his rhythm was off. Lost the ball in the swing to stop.
Uses that full approach, Bo, and it's both heels off the edge.
It's tough to stop like that, Chris, especially when you're gaining that momentum. That's a smart move he made.
And he put together 3 in a row to cut Hutchinson's lead to 19 pins in our first match live coverage on the Professional Bowlers Tour.
And you can see the angle that Marshall Holman's playing, that deep inside line. Notice how he's walking up on the extreme left side of the approach. The normal arrow is the second arrow that we normally play. You see it in there. Now watch the trajectory of Marshall Holman's ball down the 20th board, right down the center of the lane. That's to compensate for the tremendous amount of hook they're getting here in Cleveland, Ohio. Perfect done. That ball, in case you wonder, was a strike.
So he has 3 in a row. And Joe Hutchinson, who had a 5-bagger before he marked with a spare in the 6th, is now shooting in the 7th, leading by 19.
Hutchinson averaged .269 on this pair of lanes, Chris, during his 2 games during a 42-game tournament. So he really likes this pair.
And he leaves a 10-pin on the right lane. The young man that started bowling at 12 shot a 54, and the winner of this match will meet Butch Soper.
One thing you have to watch with the lanes hooking that much is when you go across lane for the 10-pin to use an extreme amount of speed, because you really don't have much more room to move left on the approach. Hutchinson all the way to the left side next to the ball return rack will use a lot of speed and kill the ball. Nice shot.
So it's 5 strikes and 2 spares for Hutchinson. And there you see the story, 18-pin lead by Hutchinson, and Holman with that 3-bagger working for him.
Hutchinson can't go to sleep here. He started with an early lead of 39 pins, but now Holman's creeping back up on him, and you know Holman is a great strike player.
Little tension release. Oh, unfortunately, the 4, 7, 10.
Chris, Hutchinson has slowed down. The first 3 or 4 frames, he was probably apprehensive, a little nervous, and he was throwing the ball a little harder, making it set in the pocket. That ball was a little less speed and just did not hold the line. It wanted to, but the last 3 feet to take that break and left the 4, 7, 10. Definitely a tough split.
Look at the odds for the professionals, 14-1 to convert this one. So it's an open frame, and now Hutchinson's lead has been cut to 4 pins. Holman can take over the lead now as he shoots in the 8th frame. 3 strikes up.
Marshall getting something off the approach. It may have been something that flew off his towel or off his foot, but right now, through the 8th frame, he's up on the right-hand lead, trailing by 4, double working, can take the lead for the first time.
Okay, there's your new leader in our first match. This is live coverage of the Professional Bowlers Tour from the Buckeye Lanes in North Olmsted, Ohio.
In his last appearance on our telecast, Chris, he was a tournament leader at the Rolaids in St. Louis, and Mark Roth bowled a sensational 279, and Marshall had a 227, which wasn't enough, but today he has a lead for the first time. 9th frame.
Four-pin on the left lane, Holman, who has finished 1st, 2nd, and 3rd this year on our telecast.
That's a great record for the first 8 weeks.
And he could take the money lead should he go all the way today. He is 2nd with $29,450.
The full approach of Marshall Holman, a little extra speed.
So now we have 5 pins separating these two pros, and it'll be Hutchinson shooting in the 9th frame following an open.
And here's where Joe Hutchinson usually shines. He's been very tough in his clutch all his career. 9th and 10th frame, he's trailing by 5 pins.
High hit leaving the 4.
Just a little high. He's going at a 224 pace. Marshall Holman at a 229 pace. Joe is going to have to throw a double in the 10th and 11th frame to put the pressure back on Holman.
Spare in the 9th for Hutchinson.
Joe Hutchinson trailing by 5, needs a double here to take the lead and force Marshall Holman to double. So it's going to come down, as this tournament in its history has, Chris, come down to the 9th and 10th frame almost every match. We had some very classic matches here, and medium scores, but always down in the clutch 9th and 10th frames. Makes for great match game bowling.
There's a lot of fans here in the Cleveland area. Scranton, Pennsylvania, not that far away. His home.
Comical Joe Hutchinson is always a comic off the lanes, but on the lanes he's a mean, tough competitor, and in this match he can really put it on Holman, can take the lead and force Holman to double. He needs this strike to take the lead, trailing by 5.
What a pressure bowler.
What a great shot, Chris. And you know, we said that Joe Hutchinson won a tournament. He won one here in Cleveland 18 months ago, but never got to bowl in the Firestone. The reason was he had hand surgery, never got to bowl in the Firestone, and since then he's been knocked out, so he still needs to win today to get back into the Firestone. It's an amazing story. He has now put the pressure on Holman. No, Holman's going to need a double.
Closing with 3 in a row with a 234 for the first appearance on the Professional Bowlers Tour of Joe Hutchinson of Scranton.
Holman needs a double and 6 pins to win the match. Holman going at 229 pace. Hutchinson already finished with 234.
There is one. Now he needs the next one coming up.
Chris, and you talk about a clutch player. Marshall Holman's playing a little lower profile than he normally has, but if he throws this strike to win the match, you can see a little reaction here. He needs this strike. Marshall is ever tough when he needs to win. Needs this strike and 6 pins to go on to meet Butch Soper.
All but the 4 on the right lane. A 229. So it's a 5-pin victory for first-time appearance on this telecast. Joe Hutchinson.